Libra, welcome to your mid-December reading. So we're going to do your astrology and we'll do all that stuff. We'll talk dates and all that, but I wanted the first part of this reading to just be no notes, just me and you. This is the Seven of Wands. Traditionally, the Seven of Wands is a card of triumph. However, it is a triumph with some context. Below, you can see all of these wands. These wands belong to people who you have had to fight off, and yet they remain right beneath you, ready at any moment to usurp your power once again, and you stand ready to defend against any attack. The look on your face is one of consternation and focus. You have to know where the next attack is coming from, and the wands seem to be coming from every side. And yet, a card of victory. But a precarious victory and perhaps temporary. The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Cups, and then the Seven of Swords, and then the Tower. So if you are a Libra or Libra rising that right now are experiencing some disruption or betrayal in the home, loss as well. The Seven of Swords is not always betrayal. It can be loss. Just something that is taken from you. It's not because of anything bad. It's just sometimes you lose things you love. And it is extremely debilitating. And it hurts like shit. And for a lot of you, it has to do, here, the Lover's card, with a specific person. Not just a general loss, not the loss of a family member, but like the loss of love. The Tower, and then the Ace of Swords, and then the Lover's card. And now here is the Eight of Cups. And this is a man who is walking away from 8 cups, which, if the 10 of Cups, which is your second card, is the fulfillment of our emotional goals, right? Where we are the most contented and happy, and we just feel we are part of something bigger than ourselves, and we're one unit with that thing that is bigger than ourselves, and so it gives us enormous identity and comfort and strength. Being 8 cups in is not bad. Being 8 cups in is pretty fucking good. So to have to walk away from 8 cups is, things weren't perfect. But I didn't think they were so bad that I had to walk away. And yet the Eight of Cups is someone who is, he has a stick in his hand. He needs some strength to do this. It's not easy. But he has decided that he can't carry these cups, and that his journey, he has to leave is the thing. And the cups can't come with him. There's just too many. So if you're experiencing some betrayal right now, or a loss that has nothing to do with betrayal, but just someone or something you love is gone, then try to reframe that. Perhaps it is that that thing remains, very much so. Those cups remain where they are, but you have to go because you still have a life to live. And maybe that is a better way for a cardinal sign, especially the most intellectual of cardinal signs, to grasp that and be able to make sense of it. It's not that that thing broke and it has, like it's left you. It's not that. That thing remains whatever it is. But your journey takes you elsewhere, and you don't have the capacity to carry this on your own. Because the Eight of Cups is also about, the emotional labor that we put in, especially when we're codependent, where we are the one carrying all the cups from place to place, and God knows how long we've been doing it. So of course, when it's time to go, you can't take them all with you because there was no partnership. You were filling 8 out of the 10 cups anyway. So my question to you then becomes, do you even know who you are? Because if you're doing this much emotional labor, and this is what you have to leave behind, this was your contribution, is 8 of the 10 cups. If you're picking up that much slack, you can't really be yourself, can you? Can you? Seems to me, this is the 10 of Wands. 9 of those wands are behind him. He holds one. He thinks it's the only one. He can't see the ones behind him. It seems to me that this period of loss might actually facilitate you turning around. The next card, these cards are reading the fuck out of you, is this 9 of Cups. He also can't see the cups behind him, but he does have one in his hand. No, actually he doesn't. He doesn't have any in his hand. He is completely sure that he is satisfied. The wands behind him, the cups behind him, and then here are the few knives that you get to take with you when you go. And whatever idea you had of love. So here we have the 6 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles. So let's take this apart. So the 9 of Wands and the 8 of Cups have very similar energy in just different aspects of your life. So the 9 of Wands is not knowing the potential that comes with knowing yourself. The 9 of Cups is not knowing the joy or contentment that comes with letting somebody help pour into those cups, and they're not all your responsibility. And then you have the 6 of Swords as the next card. I take what I can, what I learned from this. I'll take the best, that came out of this and take it with me. So it's not all in vain. And from there, it becomes a goal-oriented, achievement-oriented thing, which you love. And the 10 of Pentacles becomes the goal. The 10 of Pentacles being, once again, the unity of the family. We started here with the 10 of Cups. Here's the 10 of Pentacles. So this can mean 2 things. It can mean you find a way to create this environment again. Whatever this 10 of Pentacles wholesome environment is, depends on what the loss was. So if that means if your pet died, you get a new pet, or you get into a new relationship, or you get a new job, whatever it was that fell apart, you recreate it on your own. Or it could be that in some respect you go back to the person that all this happened with. And for a lot of you, 2 of Pentacles, it's hard because 6 of Cups, because it's not just you that's involved. 6 of Cups is a card of 2 children. 2 of Pentacles, a card of indecision. So for those of you where there's someone aside from yourself, 6 of Cups indicating someone innocent, someone who has nothing to do with anything that's happening, you don't want to feel responsible for hurting those people because you feel in some way that you have to take care of them. And so I would suggest right now that instead of choosing, you really take a step back and actually not let anyone pressure you one way or the other to do something. So here we have the 4 of Swords and the Hanged Man. 4 of Swords, take a step back. Just give yourself a little room. And the Hanged Man is you're not meant to do anything right now. And then there's this Aries card, the Emperor and Judgment. But boy, oh boy. And then, but boy, oh boy, will your ego want to. You want to jump to this decision. You want to jump to that decision. You want to figure this thing out. You want to solve it. You want it to be over. That's not how this works. And that approach has not worked in the past, and it's not going to work now. This is actually a moment where you could be very helpful to yourself by not letting the person who knows your buttons, this is the Temperance Sagittarius card, not letting the person who knows the buttons the best, don't let them press those buttons. And the thing is, they installed those buttons so they know exactly where they are. So what you have to do is you have to make yourself immune to that stimuli. Because what I see is someone who is going to be baited again and again into trying to make the wrong decision. And if you're like, oh, this is not helping me make a decision, well, I don't think you should make one right now. I don't think there's any reason for you to make any decision right now aside from just take time and focus on your peace of mind level. Don't let haste into that process. You don't have the mind for this right now. You need some space from your own thoughts, from your own ambitions, from your own judgment, from your own, you have like this Ace of Swords energy, and you're that way with yourself as well. But I don't want you to mistake Four of Swords, the Hanged Man. I don't want you to mistake your need for rest as laziness or as you keeping yourself back or you're doing a disservice to your ambition or to your goals. There are things that are much more important than your ambitions and your goals, and this here seems to be about a loss that is extremely painful. So pressuring yourself to get on with your visions and goals, while admirable, I don't think it's the way to go. I think sitting with pain, although very unpopular amongst Libras, is really fucking important, especially right now, because this little conglomerate over here of that Leo card, the Sagittarius, the Aries, the Judgment card, it's like as soon as you start pretending that everything's fine and just being ambitious, there's going to be just a bunch of monsters waiting on the other end of that door, because you're not ready and you shouldn't be ambitious right now. You're actually incredibly vulnerable and incredibly hurt. I suggest keeping to yourself, be creative, be studious, stick to your routine the way you love to, do all the things that make you feel good, and live with all the things that are making you feel bad, and sit with them without making not even making a decision. When you come to a decision, that's cool, without being baited into a decision, without being baited into a situation that then leads to a decision that you didn't even see coming. So you have to extricate yourself from the energy of whatever this loss is, so it doesn't keep pressing these buttons. Because when you're being reactive, even if you're not showing it to anyone else and you're just having like highly emotional reactions, you're letting this person like almost on a chemical hormonal level control you. They can do these things and like hit these different insecurities and make your brain flood with all these different like chemicals that make you feel like that and make you feel like this, make you feel abandoned, make you want to be attached, feel the lack of something to attach to, then go into your abandonment spiral. Like there is an entire chemical aspect of this, and it leads to deep trauma. And we just don't want any of this right now. It's too easy once somebody knows how sensitive and complex you are. How pure you can be. It's too easy for that person to hurt you right now. And this is how they're going to do it. It seems innocuous. It's not like, God forbid, like physically harming you or like even like throwing dirt on your name or anything like that. It's literally just like hitting certain things that are only personal to you, or only you know that it's a shot taken at you, but it's stuff that like hits you really deep. This is not a situation you want to be in, and certainly not a situation you want to walk into pretending like you're fine and like everything's great and you've moved on, or like you have different priorities, or like this is what's important. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to not know what to do. It's okay to sit with that and see what emerges. And yes, albeit I will admit that's a very boring process, and you are not a boring person as a fellow air sign. I get you. But there is something to be said for not having this happen again. And perhaps the way to facilitate that is really understanding it and mulling it over. And it's impossible to do that when you're back in the world of all the things you want and all the things you need and all the things, it does. This requires a little bit of like a hermit, like you have to kind of hermit yourself without letting your ambition eat at you for it or penalize you for it. Don't let yourself beat yourself up. The world is already doing a damn good job. You don't add to it. In fact, like I said, and I know I sound annoying, it might be okay to step away and really understand what is behind this loss and what led to this loss. And I'm not talking about blame or in any way you have to take accountability. That's not what I mean at all. I mean, what are the things that we do as people, and what are the things that happen to us as people that make us that later become the choices we make? And how does that play out? And what part does our childhood play in that? And what part does self-esteem play in that? And what part do other people play in that? And what part does an unseen dynamic play in that? There are so many ways to learn more about yourself through this loss, regardless of what you've lost. And if you haven't lost anything, and you're just feeling a general sense of discontent and malaise and you don't understand why, it's because the way Libra energy is set up right now, you're getting, it's the south node. Like, it's all flowing to you. It's all bearing down on you. But I would like to see it more of like a flush. It's flushing you out. And of course, during that process, anything you hold too tightly to, that's what will hurt, as it goes. Anything you weren't holding too tightly to, you didn't even feel it go. If you think about it, there's a lot that's gone in 2023 for you, right? But certain things, it felt like, you were going half with it, like your skin was getting ripped off with it. Of course, it's hard after, having that happen to you energetically. Of course, it's hard. But acknowledging that and understanding that you need some time under a rock to heal is okay. Because it's very high, fast-paced, high energy, ego central, where you got to go next. And I don't think it's a good idea. What I said was, in case, I don't know, something happened with the, it's a very ego-based, high energy, fast-paced thing. Whether that's your life, your social life, whatever, your job, whatever it is that you're getting back into when you're done with this, or that you're ready to jump back into now, you're itching to get back into, you can hardly wait, but it's not the time. Rest is indicated. Rest and the insight that comes from being quiet and mindful, and, let's not forget that the hanged man has a halo around his head. There is a certain wisdom that is gained from being still. But for you, being still will feel meaning those sharp wounds. And maybe that's the lesson anyway, is to learn how to do that. Because you can't just keep running, It is only after you feel these wounds for real and go through the icky healing of it all that you will learn something really important. invaluable, in fact. All right, we'll get into the astrology and look at the cards in the extended, and you can find that below. And I love you. And okay, before I go, real fast. Everything's going to be okay. It is. It just doesn't seem like it right now. But I think you're not really worried about that. I think what you're worried about is that things won't be the same. And that's not really the same thing as okay, is it? But things won't be the same. It's true. But Libra, things are never the same. They're always changing. And so we learn to love the change. We embrace the chaos. Or else we'll always be looking for time to dance, and there was never going to be any. Even when things are happening, you don't realize it in the moment that those are the things that later you will think, I don't want things to change. You have to stay in that moment now. When things get really hard, it's important to stay in that moment of right now. Things are never going to be the same. Things were never going to be the same. Things are never the same minute to minute, day to day. Live there, stay there. Because if you start thinking about how it used to be, you will go down a road that's very hard to come back from, because nostalgia is a form of depression and it swallows you up. And for some reason it has the added comorbidity of making people feel like it's their fault that it no longer exists. Don't play that game with yourself. Right now is what we got, and it's the only thing we got, and that's all there is to it. The way it was might not be the same ever again, but it will be better. Inshallah. I love you. Yes, I do.